All right, welcome to episode 2 of Talking Football Live, The Masters. Today will be my good friend Jim and I. Jim, how you doing today?
Hanging in there, Bobby. How about yourself?
Yeah, like I said, like I was talking before the show, a little bit of a rough week, and I know my guy Tom passed away. Big Steelers fan. In fact, we were talking about watching the game together one of these Sundays when I was up there and everything. But hey, life goes on. Let's hit the football. So what are your thoughts of the let's talk about first about the Giants. What are your thoughts about the Giants game this past week, Monday night?
I'll tell you what. Here goes. They said all throughout the last 5 years, I'm going to say, the Giants have said that they were going to improve their offensive line, that they recognized the problem was their offensive line, and they had to go out and get players to improve it. So they go out and they draft people, and the draft doesn't work, and they sign free agents, and they don't work. But they said this year, okay, things are totally different. They got Evan Neal, they got experience on the line, and lo and behold, you see poor Daniel Jones was running for his life again on Monday night, and he got sacked, I guess, 6 times, and Dexter Lawrence got 3 of them himself, right? So I feel that the Giants once again failed to do what they said they were going to do, which was improve their offensive line. Their offensive line stinks. So that's going to be the making of a very long season for poor Daniel Jones, because he's going to be running for his life every time he takes a snap.
Yeah, I kind of thought that Daniel Jones took probably a step back, right? He looked decent in the first 2 weeks of the season, 2 wins, and all of a sudden you're watching this game Monday night, and it just seemed like we're back to square one again. Like he's running around.
I wouldn't say he's back to square one, but he's certainly not getting any time at all to throw the ball down the field, and that's and you can't keep giving the ball to Saquon, because they all know that run is coming. So it's a sad case right now. I mean, they said they were going to improve that offensive line, and it is not improved at all. And poor Daniel Jones is running for dear life every time the ball is snapped.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think Saquon's kind of a lot better. I think he's number 2 running back in the NFL right now in yardage. I don't know. I just expected more. I think hey, we had a legit shot of beating a Dakless Cowboys team, without a doubt.
Yeah, at home, especially
at home.
I thought you had a great shot at beating the Cowboys without Dak. But here's the deal, which is really unbelievable. Do you know that the Giants right now are 0-12 the last 12 times they played a primetime football game? So anytime there's, like either they were on Monday Night Football, Sunday Night Football, or Thursday Night Football, they're 0-12. That's ridiculous. I mean, that's just I can't even comprehend how bad that is. So, but Barkley's done very, very well. He's obviously shown that he's recovered well from the knee. And I can't put any of this on Daniel Jones at all, but I can put it on the offensive line. It's just, you got to be able to protect the quarterback. Everybody knows in this league, it's a quarterback-driven league, and you got to have good quarterback play if you're going to be good. And the Giants don't get a chance to have a good quarterback play because they can't protect their quarterback.
At what point do you think they move on and really? I mean, how many weeks does it take for Dayball and Shane to say, "All right, you know what? We gave this guy a legit chance, right? We're going to draft a quarterback next season, first round,
and turn this team over to Tyrod Taylor." I don't know about that. I think Daniel Jones is still going to be the quarterback. Yes, the Giants have obviously shown Daniel Jones that they don't think he's the future, because they didn't pick up his 5th-year option. So I firmly believe that they're going to go out and get another quarterback, and they're obviously going to have to do that free agency. They're not going to be able to draft anybody that's going to be worthwhile and be able to play. But I don't think the Giants are going to make a change in the middle of the season to Tyrod Taylor, unless Daniel Jones gets hurt. Then it's a different story. But just for the sake of taking Jones out and putting Taylor in and thinking, okay, let's think about the future, Well, I don't know, and it's still not out of the question whether or not they'll re-sign Daniel Jones. They don't know. They just didn't pick up his option. So it's a very, very strange situation the Giants are right now in terms of their quarterback play.
Well, here's our friend Kurt Valenti from the K&K Sports Show. Come on, Broncos. Russell Wilson's got to be the most disappointing quarterback in the league right now.
Kurt, the Broncos have the best defense in the NFL. What are you watching? I mean, seriously, the Buffalo Bills have the best defense. I mean, they got defensive players left and right. Denver, and once Russ gets the offense going, watch out. Yeah, okay, I'll watch out. Sorry, Kurt, I disagree with you there.
And I'm in Kurt's fantasy league, and I happen to have Russell Wilson as a quarterback, thinking he's going to have a big year this year. Nothing so far.
Not so far. No. Hey, I got Kyler Murray in my fantasy league, and what is he doing so far? Nothing. So,
any thoughts from week 3 in the NFL this past week? Any games you? Obviously, that Miami Buffalo game was tremendous.
Unbelievable.
Albeit late cramps and all. Any thoughts?
Unbelievable game. Just an absolutely unbelievable game. And I don't care what they say, but Tua suffered a concussion with that hit when he hit his head on the turf, and then came up and he looked like Marvis Frazier after fighting Mike Tyson. He came up, he was wobbly, he had to get help to the sidelines. That's no question. He had a concussion, and they're going to say no. He was in concussion protocol, and he was okay. No, I disagree. I think he seriously hurt himself. But he came back out.
Now, Jim, whose fault is that? Is that the fault of? I mean, aren't there independent doctors on the field that give the players green lights or red lights to not go back in the game?
No, that's up to the team itself. The team makes the decision of whether or not he's able to play. So obviously the Dolphins team doctor signed off and said, yeah, he can go back out there. He went back out there, and he played well in the second half. He was not doing well at all in the first half, and he played well after he got the bop in the head, and then in halftime he comes out and he was like a new man. So he did well. I see Curtis texting us again. Who wins tonight? I'll say Cincinnati wins tonight. How's that?
Yeah, I think Cincinnati, again, a loss here. They're 1-3, which is, it's not impossible in the AFC North. I think Baltimore is, as we've seen, is beatable, and they have a tough game against Buffalo this week coming up, so they could be 2-2, which means teams like Cincinnati and Pittsburgh are not out of it just yet. Everybody wants to say, an 0-3 team like the Raiders never make the playoffs, but you know what? We have a 17-game season now.
Agreed.
And a lot can change. You never know.
Yeah, I like Pittsburgh. I like Cincinnati's chances tonight. It's a Cincinnati type of game. I can't see Raheem Mostert running the ball like he did against Cincinnati. He was not going to run the ball against Cincinnati like he did on Sunday. So I think it's a Cincinnati win tonight.
I'm with you there. Now, interesting story. I'm not sure if you noticed, Jim. Brad from our sister show, Dolphins Radio TV, big, obviously big Dolphin-centric show. It was explained to me last week before this game actually occurred last Sunday that the Dolphins built the stadium just so that on these hot days like we saw this past Sunday, that the visiting team will always be in the sun, and the Dolphins will always be in the shade.
That sounds smart. Sounds real smart, because you could see how much the heat got to the Buffalo Bills, especially in the second half. They were wilting. And it was 90 degrees with 90% humidity. I mean, that's just, it's hard to even stand outside under those temperatures. Never mind go out and try to play in full uniform. But if that was the case, that the visiting team is always in the sun, then you know what? That was pretty smart, because that's one of those advantages. Much like what Parcells used to do when he was coaching the Giants, he would check to see which way the wind was blowing, and which way the wind was blowing, he would then have the other side of Giant Stadium, the big door open, and the other side of Giant Stadium with where the window was coming in, he'd have it down. So this way, nobody knew which way the wind was blowing except for the Giants.
Yeah, funny you say that, because I used to back in excuse me, when I was a senior in high school and then my first couple of years of college, I was a souvenir vendor at Giant Stadium.
Okay.
And I think in particular, in that case, they were playing the Cardinals late in the season for a big game with playoff implications of either making it or not. And I think it came down to last minute field goal to win the game, and all of a sudden the wind just stopped. Like he called somebody to say, "Hey, close that door now because the wind. We're going this way. We need the need the advantage." So yeah, it's funny you say that. And also,
there was no question he did that. He and that was part of his genius. He was so much into it that he knew which way the wind was blowing and which door to have closed at Giant Stadium or have them both open. But he knew which one to do. So.
And then one last thing about the Miami Buffalo game. Cousin Vinny from our Buffalo Bills show, Viva Los Bills, lives up in Daytona Beach, and prayers for him and the rest of Florida today after Hurricane Ian. Him and his family drove down to Miami to watch the game as Buffalo Bills fans.
Wow.
And he was parched sitting in the stands. Because again, the sun just beats into one side, and they were charging like $10 for a bottle of water. Well, so it's a little big around there in Miami. So
yeah, there's something going on there. $10 for a bottle of water. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. But
I mean, his lips were parched. Sunburned a little bit from sitting there. So hey, kudos to I guess Miami's management, who we know is a little shaky, a little suspect, but for building their stadium that way, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, and what you call it, the opposition must absolutely should think about putting those misting stations on that sideline, so this way they try to keep their teams as cool as possible.
There's my guy. You know Daryl Jacobs at all, Jim?
The head coach, the head basketball coach in Montclair State.
I think he used to be. I think he's an ESPN college basketball announcer now. Hey, Daryl, how are you? Thanks for checking in. I always see him when I'm doing my basketball stuff, and we'll see him. Occasionally at a Seton Hall game and stuff. He does ESPN now. Hey, Daryl, thanks for checking in.
Good for him.
Yeah. Bobby, we'll have to have a little college basketball preview soon too. Because I know I used to, a lot of stuff going on with local basketball and stuff. Yeah, I think right, Montclair State.
That's right. I thought I was right. Hey, Daryl, how are you?
Any thoughts on any other games? Any other games surprise you? I know Vikings and Lions was a big game. Lions. I know you're not big on Dan Campbell, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I disagree. I'm big on him.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Because I knew him well when he played for the Giants. I'm rooting for him wholeheartedly.
I'm with you.
And after you watch Hard Knocks this year, how could you not root for him? The man is, he's filled with energy and he's right there. But there's not a lot of talent there.
A lot of talent, and they're a young team. You got to learn how to close sometimes, right? That's part of the maturation process.
Gotta learn how to run the ball with the lead. They didn't do that. That was for sure.
Exactly. So it looks like Bengals got the first win over the Jets here at MetLife. Again, if you're a souvenir vendor or you work at the stadium, you had the rare double work weekend. Jets Sunday, Giants
Sunday and Monday.
So what are your thoughts about Zach Wilson returning this week? Does he stand a chance going to Pittsburgh?
Yeah, I think he does. I think they stand a chance. They can win. They can win there. That's not out of the question. It'll be very interesting to see what kind of rust developed over the past month that he hadn't been not quarterbacking this team. But I think the Jets will respond to having Zach Wilson. I think they'll be a much better team than what they showed Sunday. Sunday was abysmal. That was just an atrocious performance. But I think and Pittsburgh is Pittsburgh. They're not that great, but they're always good at home. So I think that I personally think that that the Jets will do pretty well this week. Do I think they'll win? Let's put it this way: it's not out of the realm of possibility, and it'd be good to see Zach Wilson with the team.
Speaking of Pittsburgh, at what point do you pull the plug on Trubisky and just give the Jersey native Pickett the ball?
I think they're going to probably do it probably till week 10, and then they'll get a good idea of what Trubisky is, and then go forward with Kenny Pickett. But I don't think they pull the plug on it this early. I think they'll stay with Trubisky for at least the next, say, 6 weeks or so.
All right, Ravens over the Patriots, 37-26. What are your thoughts? Do you think Bill Belichick is going to stay around for a rebuild?
The Patriots are horrible, and yes, it's time for a rebuild, especially now that they lost their quarterback for the next foreseeable. I'm going to guess 6 weeks. So Brian Hoyer is going to be their quarterback, and I don't know if you're aware what his record is over the last 4 years that he's started football games. You want to guess?
I think I read this. This will be his 40th career start, and he's won 16 of them. Yeah,
well, I'm just talking about over the last say 4 years that he was the starting quarterback for whatever team he was calling for. You want to guess what his record was? Yeah, he was 0-12.
Oh boy.
So I think the Patriots are in trouble, and I think they're probably done for the season. I'd say it's over. It's over for them.
Does he stay though? Do you think he stays for a rebuild? I mean, he's like 70. Yeah, he's like 73 years old, right?
Yeah, but he loves doing it though, and he's got a lot of energy, and he loves doing it. And I think he stays there until they pour the dirt on him. I really do. I think I think he's got his finger on the pulse. Will they have to rebuild? Of course. Can they rebuild? Of course. I mean, like just that for 20 years he never had to worry about the quarterback position, and now guess what? He's got to worry about the quarterback position.
Mm-hmm. Your Rams had a road win against the Cardinals. Cardinals are not really beat up now, right? They're out of receivers, right? All the receivers.
Yeah, they have no receivers. They have no receivers at all. They're really banged up. Kyler Murray's running for his dear life. The Rams played well defensively, and the Rams were efficient on offense. They didn't score a lot of points, but they scored when they had a chance, and they drove the ball and got into the end zone twice. And more importantly, they established the run game. Cam Akers had a very, very good game after doing nothing all the first 2 games of the season. He did nothing, and I think he had 83 yards on 16 carries. So that's moving the ball pretty well. And and the Rams have the Rams have San Francisco on Monday night. That's going to be a very interesting game. We all know what happened last year in the NFC Championship game. It's just a repeat of that game, and I would think that they're going to be loaded for the Bears, loaded for Bear. And the Rams do not have a good record against San Francisco over the last, say, 7 years. No, I'm not go back that far. I'm going to go back the last 5 years. The record before they played at San Francisco in the NFC Championship game last year was 0-6, and they won that game. So they're 1-6 in their last 7 games against San Francisco. And that's not having to do with the spread. That's just flat out winning or losing the game. So it's going to be a tough game for the Rams. I think they know it, and I think they got to control the ball much like they did against Arizona to win the game. But I think they can.
Excellent. Real quick, I'm a big Notre Dame fan. What are your thoughts of your receiver, Skornik? Yeah, I think he has a little moxie to him.
It was Skoranek. He's doing very,
yeah.
very well. How about on the same play, he goes and levels. I mean, levels.
I saw that. Yeah, right. The block,
knocked him silly, right? Then continues on and runs a pass pattern and catches a pass for 17 yards. I've never seen that in the history of the NFL. I don't even know when there was a tight end that could do such a thing. That was incredible. He's doing very well as their third receiver right now. And he's probably going to hold on to that spot. Van Jefferson is going to be out they've already put him on IR. So that means he's got to miss at least 4 games. So Skoranek is going to play a lot as the Rams' third receiver, and he's getting looks. What can you say? He's doing well.
Yeah, I'll always root for my Fighting Irish alum in the NFL. A few more just to go over real quick. Jaguars, you're a little surprised by that. Not only beating the Chargers on the road, but the enormity of the score, 38-10.
Yes, I'm extremely surprised, and I'm extremely surprised on how well they're doing. I and a lot of the credit has to go to Doug Peterson, who came in and totally revamped the entire culture of that team. And then a lot of the credit has to go to Trevor Lawrence, who has been flawless so far at the beginning of the season. He's been unbelievable. So yeah, no, I'm surprised by the outcome. Yes, surprised by the final score, even more so. But am I shocked in the fact that they're doing as well as they are? No, I'm not. Doug Peterson, right away, as soon as he was hired, came in, changed the culture, and he's doing a real good job so far.
Can the Raiders bounce back from 0-3? Are
No.
they fixable?
No, they're done.
A lot of things I'm reading that the fan base or even football world in general, you had a coach who did well. Rich, I forget his last name, who took over at interim basis last year after Gruden got the team to the playoffs. But all of a sudden, what's his name? Mr. Davis has to go for the big name and kind of screwed up, I think, the chemistry of the team by bringing in somebody. Not saying he's not competent for the job, McDaniels, but you had someone there who was a winner. And now, you're kind of paying the price right now.
Yeah, well, I don't think you can compare what was going on last year to what's going on this year. It's a totally different environment, totally different regime. Josh McDaniels came in and he knew that he was going to have to revamp Derek Carr. They got Devontae Adams. They should have been doing better than what they are right now. They're just, not having Josh Jacobs healthy has really hurt the Raiders considerably. But I can't comprehend that they're 0-3. But are they done? Yeah. No, teams don't. Once teams are 0-3 in the NFL, even with the added game, you're done because you got a lot to crawl back. Even just to win one, to become 1-3, you're still a bottom feeder. So I think that I personally think the Raiders are done, and that's sad for Raiders fans because I know they had a lot of hopes and aspirations this year, especially after bringing in Josh McDaniels and Devontae Adams.
I got two more quick ones. Thoughts on the Packers-Buccaneers game. The old guard, very low-scoring game. Tom Brady's not playing like himself, or is this the signs of?
I think this is the signs of the end. There's no question he's not going to come back again and play next year. No way in the world. He even hinted about it a long time ago. He said he wanted to play till he's 45. Well, guess what? He's 45. And but you could see that there's something mechanically wrong with that team. Both not so much defensively, but offensively. They're not clicking at all. And got to give credit to Aaron Rodgers and the offensive coaching staff in Green Bay. They lost all their receivers, and yet he's spreading the ball all over the field. Randall Cobb is doing what he always does, but he's now almost like playing like the number one receiver. And Tanyan is proven to be a very, very good tight end. So Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. I don't care what you think about what he did in the offseason, with his, the hallucinated drugs that he was taking. But I think that he's obviously proven that he's still Aaron Rodgers. And go ahead, try to knock him off his perch.
Finally, as far as last week and whatnot in state of football, are you sold on the Eagles down the turnpike? Are they legit?
Yeah, I think they're legit. I don't know if they're as legit as some people are saying. Like I read one of the sports writers, and I think it was from might have been from Yahoo, who said that he thought that the Eagles were the best team in the NFL. Oh, I'd slow down on that kind because they haven't really played anybody yet. But 3-0 is 3-0, and Jalen Hurts is playing masterful football right now. So I got. Can they win that division? Yeah, because there's nobody else there. Are they a team to be reckoned with in the NFC? That remains to be seen. And it's going to take a lot to get to Green Bay and to the Rams. I think those are the two best teams in the NFC.
Interesting. I'm going to go over week 4 in a moment, but I believe it's Jacksonville at Philadelphia this week, right?
Yep.
So the return of Doug Peterson. And whatnot, and see how their team reacts there. That could be a little test for them, like you said.
Right, and they're both 3-0. They're both 3-0. So somebody's going to come out of that game unless it ends in a tie. Somebody's going to come out of that game with a loss. So, I think that's an interesting game. I wouldn't mind watching that.
There you go. All right, week 4 upon us now. Again, Thursday Night Football. As an OG, as yourself, what are your thoughts of these games? Now, I'm talking about football, baseball on like Amazon Prime, Apple Plus.
Wow.
Does that drive you crazy?
Yes. So wholeheartedly crazy. But money is money, and that's what talks. If Amazon gave the NFL X amount of millions of dollars so they could televise their games on Thursday night on Amazon Prime, go right ahead. That's what they're going to do. So I don't like it, but you gotta, if you want to watch the game, find it where it is, and just, I guess we all got to deal with it. But I'm happy with it. That's for damn sure. But it is what it is. And that's the way of the world when it comes to professional sports. It's all about money.
Yeah, like I'll go tonight up back to the resort, DJ my gig tonight up there, and there's obviously there's TVs all around the bar and everything, and the only one watching the game is me on my iPad because those games are not on TV, and it's
not on TV unless they could somehow get Amazon Prime on their
they don't have smart TVs
on their main
yet.
Box.
Yeah, not smart. They have regular cable or whatnot, so it's not like they have smart TVs where you can just flip an app on. All right, again, we mentioned before Dolphins at Bengals. Dolphins 3-0. Bengals 1-2. Bengals are 3.5-point favorites. Looks like the weather should be okay in Cincinnati.
Take the Bengals.
Big test for the Dolphins, right? Because they see this, especially in sports. There's always that emotion. You get a big emotional win. It's kind of hard the next week, especially football, where baseball you play the next day, you kind of get out of your system, right? Football kind of sits with you for a while because you play once a week. And now Dolphins come off a very emotional win against the Buffalo Bills. They're arch rivals. They're in first place right now. But in a short week, they're going to a hungry Bengals team who not only are they hungry, but I think they're playing their new white uniforms tonight, right? The all white with the.
I don't know what they're wearing, but the bottom line is this: yes, you mentioned a very big emotional win that gave them to 3-0. They now have to travel to go to Cincinnati and play in that environment. And Cincinnati is much more healthy than what Miami is. Miami is listing both Tua and Jalen Waddle as questionable for the game tonight. I think they'll both play, but if they're both a little banged up, then who knows how they'll play. And I just think Cincinnati needs this game to get back to 500. They played very well against the Jets. Cincinnati's got Joe Burrow. They've got Joe Mixon in the backfield. And they got the best receiver in the AFC. Yes, that's right, to you Devontae Adams fans. Best receiver in the AFC is Jamar Chase. And so that's a lot for Cincinnati to worry about. I think Cincinnati wins. I mean, a lot for Miami to worry about. I think Cincinnati wins and wins by about 7.
All right. And now starting this week, the bonus. If you're a diehard NFL fan, starting this week, you got football pretty much 15 hours.
Yep.
Starting this week because we got the first game in London. Is there a game in Germany this year as well?
There is, but that's not for a couple of weeks. Yeah, this is the first game. This is the first game in London.
First game in London, of course. Forecast rain. That's London for you.
Yep.
Vikings at the Saints. Saints are they're given 2.5. I guess they're the home team. Considered a home team. Vikings, like I said, Vikings are. They're 2 wins, 1 loss, 1 very bad loss.
Yes.
2 decent wins. I think your team has got to contend for a playoff spot. And, we all know about Winston. I think the excuses are done now for him. I know he's hurt. He's a little banged up, but he's kind of reverting to his old style. And it just shows you how great a coach Sean Payton was. That pretty much same team is intact. A few more weapons were actually added, and Winston took a step back.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but I think Kansas City. They're going to Kansas City. New Orleans is going to have a little bit of an advantage going to London to play because they played there before. They know when they had to travel and what have you. It's going to be interesting to see what a new coach in Minnesota is going to be bringing that team to London to play there. So, but who has the better team? I think Minnesota does. And I think talent wins out, and Kirk Cousins is a great quarterback. And yes, I said great quarterback. I think Minnesota wins.
The thing I'll watch out for there is I believe Dalvin Cook might be out, but we'll see, I guess, game time.
Yeah, he's dislocated shoulder. They popped it back in, but I think he should be able to play.
All right, starting the 1 o'clock slate on Sunday. We'll do the Giants and Jets last, as we always do, and of course your Rams. Cleveland at Atlanta.
What a weird game that is.
Cleveland's a quiet 2-1. Cleveland, they're a quiet 2-1.
Yeah. What a weird game that is. I don't like Atlanta at all. Marcus Mariota is not the answer, but they're going to go with him. I just think that Cleveland's got far too many tools to beat them. I think that Nick Chubb is playing like a man possessed. And I think Cleveland's got good. David Njoku at the Cedar Grove kid has got a great job of being. Now he's playing like an elite tight end. So I think Cleveland is good. And Jacoby Brissett is efficient. He's always been efficient. So I think that they win. I think Cleveland wins that game.
Now, Njoku, real quick, he said Jersey guy, Cedar Grove. He's one of the few guys that didn't go to parochial school, right? He stayed at Cedar Grove and played.
That's correct. He went to Cedar Grove, and I didn't know him as a football player at all. How I remember him was as a high jumper, and he high jumped almost 8 feet as a junior in high school. And I was like, oh my God, I think he was 7'8". He high jumped 7'8" as a junior in high school. So he was a great high jumper. You could see that he was a great athlete, and he's now proven to be a pretty damn good tight end as well.
Yeah, that town's very athletic. I remember you always look at the high school results every week, and they always seem to do good in most of the sports. Cedar Grove,
yeah, no, that's a
small town.
Cedar Grove for a small town has a very, very good athletic background, no question.
What I think could be the game of the day, one of the games of the day, Buffalo reeling from their heat exhaustion loss to Miami, as we mentioned a lot before, at the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson might be the best player in football right now.
I think he is, but it's going to be hard. You know what? I'm going to take Buffalo. I still think they have the most talent. They're the best team. I think they're still the best team in the league. Baltimore hasn't played anybody at all yet, so this is going to be a big talent challenge for Lamar Jackson, who is playing like a man possessed because he's playing for a contract, and he knows that if he goes, he can go become an unrestricted free agent. And ask the sky's the limit if he truly wants to. So I think that's going to be a very, very good game, and I can't see how Buffalo loses to Baltimore. I think Buffalo wins the game.
They're giving 3 points to the home team. Over under is 51. That's pretty high. The only big factor might be the remnants of Ian up there on Sunday. So we'll see if that affects the game or not.
Yeah, I don't think it will. But
Washington at Cowboys. Again, Cowboys barely beat the Giants last week, on Monday, as we all saw. Commanders, they're kind of a teeter-totter team that can go either way. I mean, are they a contender? Are they, more on the Giants side? Well, I guess we'll see. It's a good test game for them.
They're awful. I think Dallas wins that game easily. Commanders showed what they were made of this past week by just stinking up the building. And I feel bad for Carson Wentz because here he is. He gets another chance to be with a new team, a new regime. I love Ron Rivera. Don't get me wrong. Good man, good coach, but they have no talent. They have no talent. And Dallas has, at least they have the defensive talent. And Cooper Rush showed that he's a capable quarterback the other night. He really did. He threw the ball well. He ran the ball well. He did, as a backup, he did pretty well. So I think Dallas wins that game.
Dallas, 3-point favorites, 41.5 over under. Seattle at the Lions. Again, I think you have a team going. I think Seattle's going to rebuild mode. Lions are slowly building that foundation to respectability and beyond. What are your thoughts of this game? Lions 4-point favorites.
Who's favorite?
Lions.
Lions are favored at home, though, right?
At home, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they have to be. I think they're playing better than their record. Let's put it that way. They deserve to win last week, and they deserve to win the week before. So they've got two really, really tough losses. I think they'll bounce back. I think Jared Goff is playing pretty well in Detroit. Ahmad St. Brown has turned to be one of the best receivers in the league.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to take. I'll take Detroit in that game, and I'll lay the points.
Even his brother had a big week last week.
Certainly did. Yeah, they both did.
All right. Chargers at Texans. Again, Chargers got to be one of the biggest disappointments of the season, early part of the season thus far. They built up their defense. Khalil Mack, guys they already had there. And, what can you say? They're 1-2.
What a disaster.
Right?
An absolute disaster.
And that coach is kind of quirky, too. That coach is quirky. Remember last year, he made a lot of questionable calls that ended up, he lost games of by not doing this or doing that when he shouldn't have.
Yeah, no, it's I'm surprised with how poor the LA Chargers have played so far. I'm very surprised. Do they bounce back this week? Yeah, because they're playing the Houston Texans. So I would think they bounce back, and they bounce back with a vengeance. So
they're 5-point favorites on the road, 44 over under.
Much better team, Bobby. I mean, it's there. It's not even funny how more talented the LA Chargers are compared to what Houston is. I have
Eckler on my fantasy team, and he's done nothing. So hopefully, this is his breakout game.
That's okay. None of them have done anything. How about how about everybody who took Herbert and thought that Herbert was going to be the answer?
The next thing, right?
Yeah, no, he's struggled too as well.
By the way, let's this week when I'm back home.
I had to shift my fat body, so that's why
I'm saying this week. Let's get together. I'll give you that tripod for you, so you have a little easier.
Okay,
let's get together this week. All right, Titans Colts.
That could be a good game.
That could be a good game.
Derrick Henry is Derrick Henry, and Jonathan Taylor. They're two of the best running backs in the game going head-to-head. So I think that
could be a fast game. Yeah. As you know, in the NFL, when you run the ball, the clock moves. That could be a very fast game.
Well, that's what Vrabel wants to do, no matter who the hell he has in the backfield. He wants to control the ball and run the ball down the field. I think that the Titans have, again, they got much more talent. I am a Tannehill fan. I know a lot of people are not, but I think he does a pretty good, effective job at quarterback. I think they're the better team, and I think they win.
Jaguars 2-1, Eagles 3-0. Again, could be a fun game to watch. Again, we'll see about the remnants of Ian affecting. It's funny, they have the Baltimore game with rain, but the Eagles game with sunny, and Baltimore and Philadelphia are not that far apart.
No, they could very well be different weather patterns, and they are. They're only 90 minutes apart. But if it's a glorious day, then I think that the Titans win easily. I think
and the Jaguars have a sneaky good defense too. So maybe, like I said, maybe it'll be the first real test for the Eagles this season.
Yeah, I think so. I think and that's what the Eagles need. They need to have a test. And how much is Philadelphia favored by? 5%?
6.5.
A lot of points to give the Tennessee Titans. A lot of points. I'll take my chances with Tannehill and Henry.
All right, again, we're skipping our teams till later. 4:00 game, Cardinals and Panthers, both 1-2.
Wow, both teams, you don't know what the hell they are.
There's some talk about actually benching Mayfield when Darnold gets off the
Yeah, I heard that too as well. I don't know whether or not they'll do that. I think Mayfield's a better quarterback than
Darnold.
Sam. I think it's just, they just got to leave Sam Bradford alone. Oh, Sam Bradford. What am I talking about? They got to leave. Oh God, I'm drawing a blank.
Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield. Jesus, thank you very much.
No problem.
They got to leave him alone and just let him do what he does because he's a very effective quarterback. I know he has a tendency of throwing the ball to the other team, but I think that he'll break out of that this week. I think I'll take Mayfield and Carolina over. Who they fan?
Cardinals.
Cardinals. I'll take the Jaguars.
All right.
Jaguars. I'm losing it here.
No problem.
Over the Panthers. That's it. Yeah.
No problem. Two more 4:00 games, very short schedule with the London game, of course. Earlier, Patriots at Packers. Packers 9.5-point favorites at home. Again, Patriots. This could be their dive. This could be their their swoon.
Good night. This is the game that anybody's in a survivor pool. You want to pick a winner? It's the Green Bay Packers. They'll destroy New England by at least 2 touchdowns.
Broncos at the Raiders. Again, is this finally the game where
I think we get to see some Russ this week.
Russ Wilson, cooks a little bit, right? As they say.
Yeah, I think they got, although Kurt Valenti thinks that the Broncos are the best defense in football, I think that's comical. I think that the Broncos break out this week and have a good week, and I think they'll win. They'll win by a touchdown.
Again, very, very desperate Las Vegas team, so we'll see what happens there. And then Sunday night game, good game, entertaining game. Chiefs at Buccaneers. That's gonna be all about the recovery of Ian. Be a big topic that day with the announcers and how Florida was decimated, and could be an entertaining game there.
Well, they still haven't determined whether or not they're going to move that game to Minneapolis. So that's some of the talk. And if that happens, then it's anybody's game. If the game stays in Florida, then I think you got to start to lean towards the Jaguars. You have to. I'm not the Jaguars, the Buccaneers.
Yeah, right now it's pick 'em. So
yeah, I think the Buccaneers can hold the ground and cause some havoc for Mahomes. So I think that I kind of like Tampa Bay there.
Monday night, your Rams 2-1 versus the at the 49ers 1-2. Niners are 1.5-point favorites, believe it or not.
Like I said before, the Rams have had a tough time with San Francisco over the last couple of years. So I hope that they can continue with what they did in the NFC Championship game. But I wouldn't be surprised if San Francisco wins this game, just because of the history that the Rams have playing in San Francisco and losing.
Did the Niners catch a break with Lance getting hurt, you think, this season?
No.
And having Garoppolo still there?
Yes.
No?
Excuse me. The answer to that is no. I think that they did the smart thing by keeping Garoppolo just in case Lance got hurt, which is what happened. But I think if you're going to put all your chips in one basket and draft Trey Lance 3rd overall or wherever they took him, he's got to be the quarterback. I don't think there's any question that Lance was the quarterback and Garoppolo should be elsewhere. But since Garoppolo, they kept him just as an insurance policy, well, the insurance policy is paying off because now you got a quarterback. Can they beat the Rams? No, I don't think so. I think the Rams win the game, and I think the Rams cover.
All right, last 2 games, of course, the Jets and the Giants. The Jets are at my Steelers, 1:00. Looks like rain in Pittsburgh. Forecast. Again, I think it's still part of Ian because it's kind of going up that way.
Yep.
Steelers.
Go ahead. What are you going to say, Bobby?
Steelers 3.5-point favorites, over under 41.5. And like I mentioned before, the return of Zach Wilson.
That's the key. But I also think the key to the Jets' chances is their ability to run the ball. They can't throw the ball 70 times in the NFL and expect to win. So what they got to do is establish Michael Carter and
Brees Hall.
Brees Hall. They got to establish the two of them as the running backs like they can. And if they run the ball 20 to 25 times and they get, like, say, I don't know, 100 to 125 yards, then the Jets have a chance to win again.
All right. And then, again, weather-wise, it's just all over the place. We mentioned rain in Baltimore, sunny in Philadelphia, and it's showing rain in the Meadowlands, right down the road from us on Sunday.
Don't you know it's always sunny in Philadelphia?
Yeah, I guess you're right?
No, well, there's a series.
Bears 2-1 and Giants 2-1. Who would have thought this team would have been 2-1 going into this game?
I'll tell you right now. If the Giants don't win this game, then you can forget about their entire season. This is a must. Even though it's the fourth game in the season, this is a must win. Giants got to go. The Giants can't go 2-2, and especially against the Bears, which is a very winnable game. I think the Giants will get after Fields. I think they'll make life miserable for him. I don't know about the health of Montgomery. So I kind of like the Giants' chances, only if they don't turn the ball over stupidly like they did on Sunday night. If they hold on to the ball and control the ball and sustain long drives, the Giants will win the game.
And they got to stop Roquan Smith, who was a beast last week.
Unbelievable
game he had for the Bears last week. And 3-point favorites, which means that's a standard home 3 points you get. Over under 39.5. And if it's raining on Sunday and those two teams playing, it's going to be a repeat of that Bears-Niners game.
Yeah, you have to go under. If it's raining Sunday night, you got to go under because there's no way in the world those two teams will combine to score 40 points.
All right, so we got through the schedule. You're not feeling too well today, so we'll cut it short. One last comment. I know you're a big Mets fan. Any thoughts on Aaron Judge and being a local hero and getting 61 last night?
God bless him. I've been rooting for him the whole time. He's handled it. He's handled the whole race with grace and dignity, like he handles his entire career. He embraced Roger Maris Jr. Being there for 6 straight days. And just, it's a great feat, and he deserves every accolade that he gets. I mean, I think he sealed the AL MVP award. I think there's no question he wins that. And I hope he gets 62 and further. I hope he goes longer than that, but we'll see. We're in the final week of the baseball season, so let's see how many homers he can get in the last 7 games.
How can you not love his little thing to his mom too when he got to the dugout and took his helmet off, tipped it to her and stuff. I thought that was phenomenal.
Went over to her and got a kiss, and then after the game he gave the ball to her. Please, that's priceless. It really is.
By the way, before we go, NJ.com list. They had the guy who missed the catch. His name is Frank Lasagna.
Yes, that's his real name.
And he had the ball in his glove, and that guy's got to be kicking himself today.
Absolutely, because then Frank Lasagna caught that ball. He could have opened up a pizzeria / delicatessen and named it Frank Lasagna, and then like meatball parm would have been the first special of the day. He blew a golden opportunity because who knows how much that ball would have gotten in the open market in terms of an auction. Oh God, I don't even want to know.
And I guess that drop from the first row of seats to the bottom of the bullpen must have been pretty significant because no one jumped either. Because hey, if you have a chance of $2 million, I would have jumped if it was doable.
30 feet.
Oh, no, forget about it.
Yeah, no.
All right, Jim. Well, feel better. Let's get together
Thank
this
you,
week.
Bobby.
And I'll get your tripod and whatnot to make it a little easier for your broadcast. And hopefully you'll have Howard back next week. And let's enjoy this week. I know it's gonna be a rainy weekend, so hey, let's watch some sports.
You got it, brother. Take care.
Have a
Thanks
good
for
day,
the call.
guys. We'll see you next
All
week.
right, bye-bye now. Bye-bye now.